us. Cats ahoy, you guys. Oh, here, let's load up the notes. Okay, let's load up the notes here. Ugh. All right, my eyes are bothering me today, so just a heads up. Hi, kitty. You can come up, but you're going to have to figure it out, baby. Good boy. Come on, honey. Good boy. You got it. Come on. Whoa, whoa. Hey, honey, why don't you jump from the ground? Oh, my God, this kitty. Bud, why don't you go ahead and jump from the ground, would you? Would you? Why don't you go ahead and jump from the ground, kitten? Ah, shit, no, I'm knocking things around. No, you don't want to? I think you should, though. All right, guys, we got to get our admin account. Oh, our admin account's going. Hold on. Okay. Honey, I love you. You go figure it out, baby. Okay, sweetie. Come on, honey. You can come up, but you're going to have to figure that out, okay? Okay. We can pull you over here a little bit, but that's about it. All right, guys. Seriously. All right. Come on, bud. Come on up, buddy. Come on up, buddy. Come on. You got it. Keep jumping. Come on. Come on. Whoop. I'm sorry. Did I boop you and bop you? Oh, no. Okay. Alrighty. Okay. Dude, please get off my tit. Hold on, I gotta check sound. Check, check. Okay, we're good. All right, so we got our admin account up on this device. And Jesus fucking Christ. Our admin account up on this device. Honey, I love you. I just need you to like chill a little bit is all I'm asking. All I'm asking you. All I'm asking you is to chill a little bit. Jesus Christ. We knocked my mouse. Fuck, man, please. Cool. Hey! Hey! Cool out. We knocked my mouse clean off the fucking desk here. Okay. Now that's getting to be fucking irritating here. Okay. Hold on. We gotta find the fucking mouse now. Gonna be a whole thing. Hold up. Kitty, I love you very much. I just am not sure what's trying to happen right now. What's fitting to happen right here. Okay. All right. Christ, you guys. Okay. All right, let's see if we can find this bitch. I have to redo my cable management. I've completely revamped my little area here, so I'm literally pulling this mouse up out of like the fucking depths of hell. Oh, okay. Well, this is fun. No, I'm not trying to open Adobe. What the fuck? Well, that's fun. Okay. Fun times, y'all. Okay. Are we done? We're done? Okay, we're done goofing around. Okay. He's so adorable though. Look, he's like crashed out. He's like, Mom, just making sure video's working. Is video working? Video's working. We're up and running. As per usual, our view count is broken. Completely broken. Dash fun. Dash show fun. Let's go back and finish up what we're reading about, which is the absolute fuckery of Project 2025, right, Mr. Finn? Right, buddy? Okay. So we left off. Let me just make sure that we haven't missed. Nope, we haven't missed anything. We're good. We left off talking about ESA reforms. Thank you, baby. Thank you for being gentle. He's trying so hard to be so gentle right now. Like needing me. It's very sweet. Hey, buddy. Okay, so ESA reform for pesticides, it says, is necessary. like we talked about yesterday, which is wild. They're basically saying, bring back pesticides, like the real toxic ones. We ain't got enough of them. Bring them back. So they say ESA reform for pesticides is necessary. When approving pesticides, FIFRA allows for cost-benefit balancing, recognizing that pesticides are effective precisely because they harm pests. However, the ESA does not allow for any consideration of the beneficial effects of pesticides. Right, Kitty? Yeah? Is Mommy talking? Okay. Yes, he is. Beneficial effects of pesticides. I don't think that's true. I think that they're banning specific pesticides for specific reasons, but okay. In order to meet ESA obligations, pesticide uses are severely restricted, leaving growers with limited tools for crop protection. New policies are needed to ensure that other program offices such as ORD, OW, and OLEM will defer to OPP on toxicity issues. OPP has rigorous testing requirements for pesticide ingredients into products to ensure before they go to market that their use will not harm human health and the environment. Again, why? Why? This has already been determined. Oh my goodness. Sorry, I'm yelling. I apologize. Assessments by other offices are redundant. While individual pesticide registrations are considered adjudications and not reviewed by the Office of Management and Budget, OMB, consistent with the 1993 OMB guidance, when pesticide tolerances and registrations are withdrawn by the agency as opposed to being withdrawn voluntarily rather by registrants, these actions should undergo coordinated interagency review managed by OMB. Budget, the Biden administration has expanded the scope and breadth of regulatory actions with respect to OPPT and OPP, you know me. But both programs continue to maintain that resources are insufficient. OPPT chemicals suffers from a lack of leadership and an inability. What do you think, Kitty? And an inability. He's like listening and hanging on every word here. Here's the deal, you guys. So move this a little if I can. Okay. So Finn keeps a very close eye on his perception of Mommy's emotions. And if he feels that Mommy is upset, he will stop what he's doing, he'll come up, he'll examine me, and then he'll throw his paws around me and give me kisses until he thinks I'm better. So he's just making sure they're not having any kind of a breakdown, which I don't tend to do, but okay. And that I'm okay. Right, Finny boy? You're such a good kitty. I love you, buddy. So when you see him kind of looking at me, that's what he's doing. It's very sweet. So again, they say OPPT chemical suffers from a lack of leadership and inability rather to complete even the most basic requirements efficiently and in a timely fashion. While EPA has asked for more resources, including higher industry fees, it is not clear that it has the capacity to use additional dollars efficiently. With regard to OPP, pesticide manufacturers feel that the program is underfunded and would like its budget to be increased so the pesticide actions can be reviewed more quickly. Manufacturers are also willing to pay higher fees to the fee-based portion of the program. However, grower groups have been disappointed by EPA's actions and have significant concerns about EPA's ability to conduct science-based risk assessments and take risk management actions that appropriately balance benefits and risks as required by FIFRA. Don't know that that's true at all, but guardrails and third-party audits should be part of any funding increases through the Pesticide Registration Improvement Act or other mechanisms. Oh, for cunt's sake, my cat. Sorry. Pesticide Registration Improvements Act is PRIA, right? Okay. Dang it, kitty. You're adorable. And it is fucking irritating sometimes. Not gonna lie. Anyway, actually, fucker, real quick. Yes, I know. We didn't mean to knock that. It's okay. You're a good boy. What the hell? The fuck is it? What in the world? I'm not touching anything here. Why does it keep doing that? Okay. Yeah, Fanny, are you illegally operating a like a Flipper Zero or a Raspberry Pi? You can tell me. Say, Mommy, I would never do that. Mainly because it would require effort I don't want to take to do things I'm not interested in. So again, real quick, I'm gonna throw this into our notes. Very interesting that they seem so hell fucking bent on like doing away with any pesticide management. Like they go, if you guys have not been able to watch concurrent streams one after the other, because it is going to take a while to get through all of this. What the fuck? Jesus Christ. Anyway, yeah, I will tell you this, they have been on about this for a long time. They're obsessed about like pesticides and chemicals, and we should allow for more pesticides and more chemical usage and blah blah blah. It's very odd. I'm not going to lie to you. It's very strange. So, pardon me. Anywho, okay, I'm just gonna. Why does it want to keep? Hold on. Why does it want to keep doing that? Huh. All right. That's really interesting. I'm not sure what's going on there. Anyway. Oh, fuck. All right. With regard to OPP pesticides, pesticide manufacturers feel that the program is underfunded, like we just went over, and would like its budget to be increased so that pesticide actions can be reviewed more quickly. Manufacturers are also willing to pay higher fees to the fee-based portion of the program. However, grower groups have been disappointed by EPA's actions and had significant concerns about EPA's ability to conduct science-based risk assessments and take risk management actions that appropriately get off my tit. Thank you. Balance benefits and risks as required by FIFRA. Guardrails and third-party audits should be part of any funding increases through the Pesticide Registration Improvement Act, again, that's PRIA, or other mechanisms. Again, this is just per Project 2025. This is not my assessment. If you don't get off of there, you're going to have to get down. That's not comfortable, and I don't like it. Thank you. Okay? Thank you so fucking much. I think I'm just going to move a little bit. Testing. Oh, sorry. That was really odd. I think oh, you know what? The power button got hit. So this mic requires constant 48 volt power, and the 48 volt power button got hit. Oops. Whoopsie doodle. Apologies for that. So, and it keeps like bringing me back up the page. What the fuck? So, this is very strange. Like, Office of Research, what is their fucking deal about pesticides? Office of Research and Development, ORD, and related science activities. Okay. Related science activities. God, what the fuck? ORD. While much of this work has not been authorized by law, EPA conducts a wide variety of intramural and extramural research, development, regulatory science, science advisory, peer review, risk assessment, and risk management activities. I'm just going to move this over so I can see my volume. There we go. Okay. Oh, and we're going to share a couple of things here. And make sure that our admin accounts aren't being kicked out, because oftentimes that seems to happen. I'm not quite sure why. Okay, hold on one sec. Okay. Well, fuck you. Not you guys, sorry. Apologies for that. Get bent, Jesus Christ. That is so annoying, y'all. I hate X so much. I feel like I make it sound like a fucking Shakespearean undertaking. Live reading Project 2025. Okay. All right here. And then one more little stop we got to make. We got to hit our adult only pages and still be out here doing this and letting people know. Okay. We're hitting our NSFW and adult only pages in order to, okay, to let people know. Okay, there we are. Alrighty. One sec, guys. While we finish our Hi, kitty. Okay. Let's see. I just hate, like, because anytime you put a link up, it's just gonna, like, they're gonna, like, shit all over you. And it's not just that they can't, like, the site can't confirm your link. No, they're greedy little bitches. They want their proprietary shit and nothing else. And it's annoying as fuck, to be honest. Okay. Okay. Oh, I appreciate the other adult content people who have recently subscribed to me, by the way. It's very thoughtful and kind, and I appreciate you guys. I'm not really a huge adult content creator per se, but I do have a page. And it is sort of part of my like protocol, I guess, for meeting up with new fun adults in the Chicago area. That and Reddit. You meet a lot of safe, nice, thoughtful people. Seriously, couldn't recommend it more highly. You might be shocked that I'm open about things like that, but I see no reason not to be. I'm not a puritanical person, and I refuse to be. Just full stop. Hi, kitty. Obviously, anybody who would go to those sites, and I'm not advertising right now, to be clear, would need to be 18 plus. And that is, again, that's not an advertisement. That's just information. Okay, hold on. How are the sound levels? I feel like I keep hitting max, like max volume. One moment, please. Okay. How's this? Is this better? I think that might be a little better. No? That? Okay. All right. Back to it then. Back to it then. Nope. We don't use AI viewers, you dumb motherfucker. Okay. Anyway. So back to it here. The Biden administration. So hold on. So the Office of Research and Development, chronic pain. Office of Research and Development seems to be something that, again, that the authors of Project 2025 really kind of have a thing against, if you will. And this is specific to the EPA, but like they're saying here, while much of this work has not been authorized by law, not necessarily true. That's a little misleading. A lot of it doesn't need to be, quote unquote, authorized by law. Like each little activity has to be perfectly authorized or else. That's not really how, governing works. Either something is legal or it isn't. Good boy, Finny. I love you, buddy. It's, not every single loan activity, it needs to be literally like specifically authorized by law on its face. That's a little silly. But then thank you for the follow. I appreciate you. While much of this work has not been authorized by law, we'll just go back into it. This is what the authors of Project 2025 are saying. The EPA conducts a wide variety of intramural and extramural research, development, regulatory science, science advisory, peer risk assessment, peer review, and risk management activities. This enterprise includes the Office of Research and Development, ORD, the agency's largest employer, as well as science activities across other key programs, regions, and cross-cutting parts of the administrator's office. EPA's scientific enterprise, including ORD, has rightly been criticized for decades as precautionary, bloated, unaccountable, closed, outcome-driven. Isn't that what they've been saying, that this should be outcome-driven? Anyway, hostile to public and legislative input and inclined to pursue political rather than purely scientific goals? No, that's not the case. Anywho, needed reforms per the authors of Project 2025. Day one priorities. Oh, goody. I can't wait to see these. Notify Congress that the EPA will not conduct any ongoing or planned science activity for which there is not clear and current congressional authorization. Well, that's not really how this works, bud. I hate to tell ya. The creation of the organization itself kind of functions as its own permission to get on with activities germane to the necessities of that organization. Like, every single individual action does not need to be and shouldn't need to be like run by Congress. Like you're asking your parents if you can take the car or something. Need of reform statement priorities. Really? Notify Congress that EPA will not conduct any ongoing planned science activity for which there is not clear current congressional authorization. This priority should be underscored in the president's first budget request. The new president, i.e. Donald Trump, i.e. right now, inauguration day regulatory review freeze directive should avoid exceptions for EPA actions. This freeze should explicitly include quasi-regulatory actions, including assessments, determinations, standards, and guidance that have failed to go through the notice and comment process and may date back years. Pause for review all contracts above $100,000 with a heavy, oh my God, wow, with a heavy focus on major external peer review and regulatory models. Yikes. I hope I don't hit the mic. And if I do, I apologize ahead of time. Call for the public to identify areas, where EPA has inconsistently assessed risk, failed to use the best science, or participated in research misconduct, Eliminate the use of unauthorized regulatory inputs like the social cost of carbon, black box, and proprietary models. Bro, every part of the government uses proprietary models. That's ridiculous. Not saying they should, just that they do. And oftentimes that's the proprietary models come from like external companies and bidders and contractors and the like. Anywho, and unrealistic climate scenarios, like what? Oh, because global warming and climate change don't exist. Gotcha, in their minds. And including those based on representative concentration pathway, RCP 8.5. So they're saying climate change doesn't exist and we shouldn't act like it does. Personnel quickly nominate a reform-minded assistant administrator for research and development. Appoint and empower a science advisor reporting directly to the administrator, in addition to a substantial investment, no fewer than 6 senior political appointees charged with overseeing and reforming EPA research and science activities. Qualifications for these positions should emphasize management, oversight, and executive skills, including in leading state environmental agencies, as opposed to personal scientific output. Bro, what? Suspend and review the activities of EPA advisory bodies, many of which have not been authorized by Congress or lack independence, balance, and geographic and viewpoint diversity. So they have to be independent, but also authorized by Congress and have balance and geographic and viewpoint diversity. Also, using diversity, naughty word. Seriously, they say at the very beginning of this document that diversity is like a naughty word that we should not be using ever, but they use it a lot. So that's what I have to say.
Bruh.
Okay. Retract delegations for key science and risk assessment decisions from assistant administrators, regional offices, and career officials. Again, they don't like career public servants, like people who continually serve the public throughout their career. Like, that's bad to them. Probably because they know what folks should and shouldn't be getting away with, legally speaking. It's almost as if. And thank you for the follow. I appreciate you. Eliminate the use of Title 42 hiring authority that allows the ORD to spend millions in taxpayer dollars for salaries of certain employees above the civil service scale. Sorry, I'm fixing myself. I don't know what else to tell you. Okay, it's a problem that comes along with this. Announce plans to streamline and reform EPA's poorly coordinated managed laboratory structure. What? That doesn't even make any fucking sense. Budget. Back to basics. Rejection of unauthorized or expired science activities. What does that mean exactly? Unauthorized or expired science activities? Could you vague it up a little bit for us? I don't think it's vague enough. The top priority should be the immediate and consistent rejection of all EPA already in science activities that have not been authorized by Congress. Again, not necessary, but the authorization is implied by way of the body existing. In fiscal year 2022, according to EPA's opaque budgeting efforts, science and technology activities total nearly $730 million. It's actually not that much. EPA's fiscal year 2023 budget request for the Office of Research and Development seeks funds for more than 1,850 employees. I mean, yeah, that sounds pretty, sorry, my eyes are bothering me, pretty legit, right? Pretty reasonable. It does to me. A dramatic increase for what is already the largest EPA office with, Jesus Christ, my eyes are really grainy. The smoke's still bothering me. The wildfire smoke is getting to me. Wow, the largest EPA office with well above 10% of the agency's workforce? Well, yeah, I mean, that's a reasonable amount of employees, even if they're just bringing that amount of employees on board. Like, what? ORD conducts a wide-ranging series of science and peer review activities, some in support of regulatory programs established by our environmental laws, but often lacks authority for these specific endeavors. Well, again, see above. What did I just say? Several ORD offices and programs, many of which constitute unaccountable efforts to use scientific determinations to drive regulatory enforcement and legal decisions, should be eliminated. Okay. So again, climate change isn't real, is what I'm getting from that. The Integrated Risk Information System, for example, was ostensibly designed by EPA to help evaluate hazard and dose response for certain chemicals. Despite operating since the 1980s, the program has never been authorized by Congress and often sets, quote, safe levels, unquote, based on questionable science. Like what? Climate change existing? And below background levels, resulting in billions in economic costs. The program has been criticized by a wide variety of stakeholders: states, Congress, the National Academies of Science, Engineering and Medicine, that's NASEM, and the U.S. Government Accountability Office, GAO, among others. EPA has failed to implement meaningful reforms, and thus unaccountable programs threatens key regulatory processes as well as the integrity of Clean Air Act and TSCA implementation. Weren't they just saying that we needed to get rid of the Clean Air Act? Anyway, needed EPA advisory body reforms. EPA currently operates 21 federal advisory committees. These committees often play an outsized role in determining agency scientific and regulatory policy, and their membership has too often been handpicked to achieve certain political positions. What, like right now? Like what you guys are suggesting literally right now? Anyway, in the Biden administration, they say key EPA advisory committees were purged of balanced perspectives, geographic diversity, important regulatory and private sector experience, and state, local, and tribal expertise. Contrary to congressional directives and recommendations from the GAO and intergovernmental associations, these moves eviscerated historic levels of participation on key committees by state, local, and tribal members from 2017 to 2020. As a result, a variety of EPA regulations lack relevant scientific perspectives, increasing the risks of economic fallout and a failure of cooperative federalism. EPA also has repeatedly disregarded legal requirements regarding the role of these advisory committees in the scope of scientific advice on key regulations. Needed science policy reforms, I'll be delighted to see this, instead of allowing these efforts to be misused for scaremongering risk communications and for scaremongering risk communications and enforcement activities. The EPA should embrace so-called citizen science and deputize other members of the real world road rules cast from 1652 or whatever. count the ways that that could go wrong. Citizen science. Seriously, it should embrace citizen science and deputize the public to subject the agency's science to greater scrutiny, especially in areas of data analysis, identification of scientific flaws, and research misconduct. In addition, EPA should shift responsibility for evaluating misconduct away from its Office of Scientific Integrity, which has been overseen by environmental activists, and toward an independent body. Work including with Congress to provide incentives similar to those under the False Claims Act. For the wait. I gotta double check what the False Claims Act is. I'm actually not 100% like sure up front. So let's ask Claude. Let's ask Claude. One sec. Take a drink of my water while we're waiting for Claude. This is the Lincoln Law. Oh my gosh, this is not good. One sec. We're putting all of this information into the Discord. The link is in the description of this live stream. That's where we're taking all of our notes on whiteboard app and all of that. And I'll go ahead and generate another link right now. Okay. Wow, dude. Okay. I'll put it in multi-stream. Just gonna put it under Discord. Her view counter is broken, sadly, so I do see people subscribing, and I appreciate you guys. I'm not sure exactly who's watching or where you're coming from, but thank you. Thank you for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. And like I said, go ahead and join the Discord in the down there part. I just put it in the comments section too. I'm going to have Claude generate an infographic here. Ooh, this is good. I like it. This is a good infographic. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and share that. Whoa, Nelly. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and share that. I'm going to put it in our notes and put it in Discord right now. Hey, this is pretty good, man. I appreciate that download there. It's pretty good. That's pretty good, if you ask me. The fuck? This thing's being a pain in the friggin' ass right now. What the hell, dude? I really wish they'd stop like redesigning every interface. It's seriously fucking annoying. Okay. Good cripes. So irritating. Okay. Just go ahead and do that right there. Infographic on the Lincoln Law, aka the False Claims Act, referenced in the EPA. Oh, my eyes. Section of Project 2025 this evening. Okay, there we go. And then we're going to go ahead and throw this in. Ow, fuck. Gosh, I hope so too. Yeah. Okay. Let's just go back to the notes here. And what we're going to do is we're going to actually just add in the okay. If we can, what the fuck? Selecting image. All right, I'm gonna have to reload this, I think. Okay. Ah, shit, I keep fucking canceling the downloads. Dude, bruh, get it together. Shit. Good lord. What a goofball. Mm. Damn. Fucking what the shit. Okay. Now, I'm going to go ahead and add in that image into our notes in the whiteboard app. Okay. Jesus Christ. What a goofball. All right. Right there. Right here. This is so much better. Oh, fucker. Tell me something good. Tell me that you love me. Yeah. Tell me something good. Oh. Tell me that you like me. Yeah, it's uploading right now. Fuck. Okay, can I see? Can we see it? I don't know. Dirt. I'm just gonna leave this right here. I don't know if we'll be able to see it okay or not, but we'll see. Oh yeah, we can see it perfectly. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of generate a little note here in the whiteboard app. You okay, baby? I love you. These little shits, these adorable little kittens. Adorable little babies, I tell ya. Okay. I'm just gonna write it as notes. Motherfucker, did I not just select fucking yellow as the color? I know I did. I know I did. Shit. Okay. We're just gonna say notes, and then we're gonna say below is an infographic of the Lincoln Law, aka the False Claims Act. If I could type, that'd be great. We'll just say since that appears to play a large role in the plans the Heritage Foundation has for the EPA project 2025. Yes, okay. Pardon me. I actually think I'm going to go with like a darker yellow so that it's, more legible there. Yeah, that's really good. I like that. It's really good information to have, to be honest with y'all. Okay, just move that up a little bit, make everything a little bit more, just like, I don't know, organized, legible, whatever, however you want to put it. Okay. There we go. Now, this, I think I'm just gonna make that a little bit more legible there. In case we start to go into another section, I'll just leave that be for now. So this is interesting though. This is interesting. What the fuck? It keeps going up to like the very top of this page. What the fuck? What the hell? Is it like saving a bookmark or something? What the Okay. Actually, let me see this. Ooh, that's better for my eyes. So I think I'm gonna go with that. Didn't even think about trying that. So okay. Fuck. Okay. There we go. I just don't know why it keeps going back to like a bookmark or something. Like, what the fuck? It keeps going back up here. What the hell? Is it like, is there something going on over here? Like, what the fuck? All right, hold on. This is annoying as hell. What the hell? There we go. Good God. Okay, so like we said, eliminate the use of Title 42 hiring authority that allows ORD to spend millions in taxpayer dollars for salaries of certain employees above the civil service scale. And again, they want to reform the civil service scale so that it is quote unquote merit based, i.e., they can pay you less if they decide to, and they want to do away with unions. So any worker representation they'd like to do away with, essentially. Retract delegations for key science and risk assessment decisions from assistant administrators, regional offices, and career officials. Eliminate the use of Title 42 hiring authority that allows ORD to spend millions in taxpayer dollars for salaries of certain employees above the civil service scale. Yeah. So again, do you see what I'm saying here? They're really trying to get that civil service scale down, way down. Announced plans to streamline and reform EPA's poorly coordinated and managed laboratory structure. Budget back to basics, rejection of unauthorized or expired science activities. A top priority should be the immediate and consistent rejection of all EPA, ORD, and science activities that have not been authorized by Congress. We went through this in fiscal year 2022, according to EPA's opaque budgeting efforts. Science and technology activities totaled nearly $730 million. Again, that's not too bad. EPA's fiscal year 2023 budget request for the Office of Research and Development seeks funds for more than 1,850 employees, a dramatic increase. Again, that's not really a dramatic increase, but okay. Let's get back down to where we actually were when we left off. Just refamiliarizing myself with everything that it was discussing because there's so much going on there, right? Pardon me. I'm still not quite understanding the needed science policy reforms where it's like, instead of allowing these efforts to be misused for scaremongering risk communications and enforcement activities, EPA should embrace so-called citizen science and deputize the public subject the agency's science to greater scrutiny, especially in areas of data analysis, identification of scientific flaws, and research misconduct. In addition, EPA should shift responsibility for evaluating misconduct away from its offices of scientific integrity, which has to be overseen by environmental which has been overseen by environmental activists, i.e., people who believe in climate change, I guess, and toward an independent body, work including with Congress to provide incentives similar to those under the False Claims Act, like we just went into, for the public to identify scientific flaws and research misconduct, thereby saving taxpayers from having to bear the costs involved in expending unnecessary resources. And again, just a quick little primer is the answer that I got from Claude when I asked this question, which is False Claims Act. What is it? It's a federal law originally passed in 1863, aka the quote-unquote Lincoln Law, that lets the government go after people or companies who defraud federal programs. So they're trying to weaponize the Lincoln Law or the False Claims Act against any agency that they don't particularly like, so that they can accuse them of defrauding federal programs. It says, per Claude, the core mechanics are what it covers: knowingly submitting false claims for payment. That seems like a big burden of proof, right? But anyway, for payment to the government, or knowingly using false records to get a claim paid. Classic targets: defense contractors overbilling, healthcare providers overbilling, Medicare, Medicaid for services not rendered, companies falsifying quality compliance data to get government contracts, the qui tam hook. This is the part people find interesting. It says private citizens or quote unquote realtors can sue on the government's behalf if they have inside knowledge of fraud. If the case succeeds, the whistleblower gets a cut, typically 15 to 30% of whatever's recovered. This turns employees, contractors, and competitors into a decentralized enforcement army, which is a big part of why the FCA has been such an effective tool historically. Billions are allegedly recovered annually. That seems something they could weaponize, though, especially with all of the Doge bullshit that happened last year, the effects of which are still being felt and will for decades, at least. Penalties: treble damages, 3 times the government's actual loss, plus per claim civil penalties, which get adjusted for inflation and currently run in the tens of thousands of dollars per false claim. That stacks fast if you're talking about thousands, let's say, of fraudulent Medicare billings. Mental state matters, pardon me, knowingly, quote unquote, includes actual knowledge, deliberate ignorance, or reckless disregard. So you can't just claim you didn't personally verify the false info if you willingly avoided checking. Given the DHS, CISA, and federal contracting stuff that I've been tracking, that we've been talking about with Project 2025, even Claude thinks that this could be something that, is being used as a tool to sort of go after government contractors and even government agencies. And I mean, perhaps from the shitty way that they worded it, even government employees, perhaps, which I don't know how that would work, for essentially everything that we just discussed, right? False claims and false representation, which is kind of a horrifying prospect if you think of it. Yay, another one. Just put that off to the side in the horrifying prospects jar. Anyway, avoid proprietary black box models for key regulations. Like we talked about, nearly all major... My pain level is super high, I apologize. Major EPA regulations are based on non-transparent models for which the public lacks access, or for which significant costs prevent the public from understanding agency analysis. Reject precautionary default models and uncertainty factors in the face of uncertainty around associations between certain pollutants and health or welfare endpoints. EPA's heavy reliance on default assumptions, like its low-dose linear non-threshold model, bake orders of magnitude of risk into key regulatory inputs and drive flawed and opaque decisions, given the disproportionate economic impact of top-down solutions. EPA should implement an approach that defaults to less restrictive regulatory outcomes. Yikes. Ugh, that sounds horrible. Thank you so much. I hate it. Let's go ahead and put that in our notes. Oh man, my eyes are really bothering me. Okay. Okay. I'll just put like a little tilde at the beginning just to represent that this is one bullet point among many, that I'm just not going to copy and paste all of them there. So, refocus its research activities on accountable real-world examinations of the efficacy of its regulations, with a heavy emphasis on characterizing and better understanding natural background, international and anthropogenic contributions for key pollutants. It should embrace concepts laid out in the 2018 Back to Basics process for reviewing national ambient air quality standards, like getting rid of them, I guess is what we're talking about. Memo to ensure that any science and risk assessment for the NAAQS matches congressional direction. Oh, goody. That's great. Okay. So getting rid of clean air standards. What could go wrong? Anyway, let's go ahead and copy and paste that in. So yeah, that's another little bullet point. We'll just throw in a tilde at the beginning of that just so that everybody can tell it's a bullet point. That's wild. Legislative reforms. Fuck. While some reforms can be achieved administratively, especially in areas where EPA clearly lacks congressional authorization for its activities, Congress should prioritize several EPA science activity reforms. Use of the Congressional Review Act for Congress to disapprove of EPA regulations and other quasi-regulatory actions and prohibit, quote, substantially similar, unquote, actions in the future. Reform EPA's Science Advisory Board and other advisory bodies to ensure independence, balance, transparency, and geographic diversity. Built on recent bipartisan proposals to increase transparency for advisory bodies, subject to the Federal Advisory Committee Act, as well as recommendations from the Administrative Conference of the U.S. to strengthen provisions for independence, accountability, geographic diversity, turnover, and public participation. This should include a prohibition on peer review activities for unaccountable third parties that lack independence or application of these same principles to non-governmental peer review bodies, including NASEM. Add teeth to long-standing executive orders, memoranda, recommendations, and other policies to require that EPA regulations are based on transparent, reproducible science, as well as that the data and publications resulting from taxpayer-funded activities are made immediately available to the public, reject funds from programs that have not been authorized by Congress, like IRIS, as well as peer review activities that have not been authorized by Congress. And by peer reviews, they're talking citizen scientists, I guess. Whatever that means. Revisit and repeal or reform outdated environmental statutes. A high priority should be to repeal or reform of the Global Change Research Act of 1990, which has been misused for political purposes. Okay. Well, then. Okay. Just gonna throw that into our notes here. And let's move on. Repeal Inflation Reduction Act programs providing grants for environmental science activities? Jesus. Y'all saying the quiet part directly out loud in our faces here. What on earth? Wow. Anywho, American Indian Office, AIO. AIO is a vital EPA function that is mandated to carry out a 1992 Act of Congress that administers the Indian Environmental General Assistance Program. Because of the sovereign to sovereign relationship between the United States government and the federally recognized sovereign Indian nations, federally recognized sovereign Indian nations. This act's purpose is to assist tribes in developing the capacity to manage their own tribal environmental protection programs and set them up to implement programs for the management of solid and hazardous waste. This office also is the chief office under which the EPA's 1984 Indian policy functions. Needed reforms. AIO should be significantly elevated as a standalone EPA Assistant Administrator Office. This would send a clear message to American Indians and Alaskan Native villages that the agency takes seriously the environmental issues plaguing Indian country. Well, designated a headquarters, rather office, with direct reporting to the administrator. Its location should be in the American West, closer to most tribal nations. This could include Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, Dallas, Texas, or Denver, Colorado. The state of Oklahoma is considered the tribal center of America and is home to 39 federally recognized tribes. Well, would you look at that? Tyler Catastrophe was sort of ish right about something. Including the, quote, 5 civilized tribes, unquote. The other 2 options are also close to numerous tribes and home to EPA regional offices. Oy vey, that's a horrifying prospect. Ugh. Like, what? This is not about caring about Native people. What really is it about? I'm curious. Anyway, AIO should be significantly elevated as a wait a minute, hold on. I'm just gonna throw this into notes because this just seems so freaking bizarre. Like, hello, what? It doesn't make a lot of sense, to be honest. To me, it like, okay. Alrighty, let's see here. Yeah. Alrighty. Let's just throw that in there. That's not really a bullet point. That's more just a little paragraph. So odd. Like, what? All right, I'm just gonna throw in my little notes and say like, notes. I'll make sure that it's evident that these are just my thoughts. I'm curious what the potential drift could be here. Yeah, that's definitely an odd situation, that's for sure. And I want to be clear about what I'm curious about regarding AIO headquarter changes. Because they seem so supremely unconcerned with doing anything else to like benefit the environment that it's a little odd to see something like this. Oh, we should pay really close attention to the 5 civilized tribes, quote unquote, or to Native peoples and like help them and be in their environment. Like, are we talking about extracting oil? Like, what are we talking about? Let's just be upfront. That's my kind of feeling or proposition. It's like, okay, what are we doing? Like, what is the point of this? Because it's not to help Native people. That's for sure. That is for damn sure. Needed reforms. AIO should be significantly elevated as a standalone EPA Assistant Administrator Office. Like I said, what the fuck? I don't quite understand it. New policies. All EPA tribal grants and tribal matters should be run from this office as a one-stop shop for all tribal affairs. Budget and personnel. AIO should be led by a politically appointed Senate-confirmed assistant administrator, ideally one with strong ties to a federally recognized tribe. What the fuck? That is bizarre. He or she should have political deputies and staff to assist the political leadership in carrying out agency policies. Career EPA tribal staff are located throughout the nation in all regional offices, but are paid mostly under the budget of the current Office of International and Tribal Affairs, which will be significantly restructured as international functions are reabsorbed into the appropriate media offices. For example, air, water, and land and emergency management. Because of this, tribal staff should be fully under the authority of the new American Indian Office and its assistant administrator, not the regional offices. Office of General Counsel, OGC. OGC serves as the chief legal advisor to EPA's policymaking officials. It also provides legal support to regional actions and enforcement and compliance litigation. OGC lawyers represent the agency in court alongside the Department of Justice, typically defending any actions. Okay, needed reforms in new policies, review EPA's environmental justice and Title VI authority. Wherever possible, the Biden administration was allegedly broadening EPA's use and interpretation of environmental justice, EJ, and Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 beyond long-standing understandings of the legal limits of that authority. As a threshold matter, there is an opportunity to redefine EJ as a tool for the agency to prioritize environmental protection efforts and assistance to communities in proximity to pollution or with the greatest need for additional protection. Interesting. Allocations of agency resources, increased EPA enforcement, and or agency distribution of grants should be based on neutral constitutional, if I could speak, right, principles. Okay, so first I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to paste in what I just copied to our notes. This is so interesting and I'm very curious about this. Oh God, my eyes are killing me. I'm not trying to make faces at y'all and roll my eyes, I promise. Huge. Okay. Anywho. Okay. That is so odd, though. Yeah. Okay. Budget personnel. Career. OGC. Yeah, it's just such an interesting kind of statement or position for them to take. I'm very curious about this. Offices. Okay, Office of General Counsel. Yeah. Okay. Oh, fuck. So, let's go ahead and copy and paste this and put this in notes. Okay. I don't know if I can paste all of that at once. That's a lot to paste, but we'll see. Oh, it did. It pasted. Okay, perfect. So okay, so allocations of agency resources, increased EPA enforcement, and or agency distribution of grants should be based on neutral constitutional principles. In 2023, the Supreme Court is expected to, well, I assume they did, provide guidance on the constitutionality of race-based discrimination as it considers students for fair admissions versus University of North Carolina. Yeah, there have been issues there. And by the way, I'm related to the people who run University of North Carolina. We have common slave ancestors, interestingly enough. UNC Chapel Hill. I don't know them, but maybe one day we'll meet. Accordingly, the next administration should pause and review all ongoing EJ and Title 6 actions to ensure that they are consistent with any forthcoming SCOTUS decision. Okay. Again, this either did or did not happen in this decision in fuck my eyes, in 2023. Let's ask Cloud. Did this Supreme Court decision ever happen? And if so, what was it? Gotta see what happened here. Maybe then. Yes, it happened. Decided June 29th, 2023, alongside its companion case, Students for Fair Admissions versus Harvard. Okay, interesting. Okay. All right. Alrighty. Okay, we're going to throw this into our notes. Interesting here. I'm just going to... No, Jesus Christ. Per Claude Sonnet 5. By a Supreme Court. Okay. Hey, what the fuck? This is a really awful decision, you guys. Holy shit. This is really troubling. I'll read it to you in one sec. Oh my gosh. Oh my god. Actually, those rulings have impacted things since Trump took office for his second term. Okay, because this is very interesting. Okay. So here's the answer from Claude, and this is very interesting and very upsetting. The ruling happened on June 29th, 2023, alongside its companion case, Students for Fair Admissions versus Harvard. The ruling was that the Supreme Court held 6-3 that UNC's race-conscious admissions program violated the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. Chief Justice Roberts wrote the majority opinion. The Harvard case was decided under the Title VI, since Harvard is private, but the reasoning was the same. Core holding was that the court effectively overturned decades of precedent going back to the Regents of the University of California v. Back, 1978, and Grusher v. Bollinger, 2003. Because Trump stacked the Supreme Court with mega extremists and extremely conservative justices, right? Which obviously these appointments are for life. So anyway, these decisions had allowed universities to consider race as one factor among many in admissions to achieve the educational benefits of diversity. The majority held that these programs failed strict scrutiny in this decision. They lacked sufficiently measurable objectives, allegedly, relied on race in a negative/stereotyping way, and had no logical endpoint. Well, that's what you get when you stack your Supreme Court with conservative justices. Dissents: Justice Sotomayor, joined by Elena Kagan and Ketanji Brown Jackson, wrote the primary dissent, arguing the decision, quote, rolls back decades of precedent and momentous progress, unquote. Justice Jackson recused herself from the Harvard case. She sat on Harvard's Board of Overseers, but dissented in the UNC case. Given this Project 2025 tracking, I thought it might be interesting to go ahead and find out more about how these rulings might have already affected things in Trump's second term. Sorry. Making another. Yes, I'm using AI. No, I'm not using it to, like, I don't know, do any of this. I'm doing my own notes. I just thought if we needed more specific information, it might allow us to have either generated .png files that we could look at, or it could give us like point by point answers, and we could check that, of course, to make sure that it's accurate. But I have, and it's accurate, sadly. Oh, my eyes are killing me, guys. I apologize. So, anyhow. That's so sad. That is so sad. So it says the ruling became a central hook for the administration's DEI rollback. And pardon me, yeah, wow, that's really sad. I'll put this all in our notes if you guys would like to look at it. I'm just gonna say per Claude. This is really stark. It's upsetting. I'll finish reading all of this to y'all in just a sec. Hi, baby kitten. Hi. You're a good boy. Yes, mommy's okay. It just is something sad. She's reading something sad. You're okay. Mommy's okay. Fuck, it's ridiculous. Yeah, well, that's not clickable, so we'll just get that out of there. Wow, that's really something. Mm. That's really ugly. I am sorry to hear that, y'all. It's all in the notes in the whiteboard section of the Discord, but I'll read all of this to you in just a moment. This is really important stuff. Really important stuff. And it fucking angers me, I'll be honest with you. Hi, kitty. You're a good boy. Good kitty. Dang it. Okay. Again, we've got a little graphic here. Courtesy of Claude, but this is just fucking awful. Oh my god. Fuck. Ah, shit. Let's make sure that we download this correctly. I think we already have that, but just to be sure. Okay, we're good. And then I'm just going to add a little bit more in terms of notes because I think this is really important stuff. Fucker. Damn it, you guys. I'm goofing on myself here, clicking on the wrong thing. Fuck. Okay. Go. Oh my god, sorry. Fuck. Right. That's so fucking bleak. Yeah. All of that information now is in our notes, and I'm gonna add in that image that we just made. So we'll put it in our shit, fuck, yes. We will put it we'll put it in Discord too, because I think it's worth including. Claude generated will say infographic of the decision on students for fair admissions versus UNC. University of North Carolina. Okay. This is so bleak. Jesus Christ. Yikes. All right, we'll just say, have any further decisions or effects been made clear in 2025 or 2026? We'll ask Claude that, because I think it's important to think about. Okay. So it says the picture the picture has gotten significantly clearer in the last few months. Okay. Wow. All right. Okay. All right. Like, I'm just going to read through the little infographics, but you guys should check it out in our Discord. Our Discord is in the description of this live stream, and it's in the comments right now. I think it's really important to have all of this information. I don't know that I can go through all of it right now, but I think it's important to look at and to have. Shit. There we go. All right, we'll just, all right, there. And then we will add in that information right here. Pretty stark stuff. We are generating, selecting. I think we're selecting. Are we selecting? I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, pretty bleak, man. All I can say. Gotta reload that. Reload. And Claude even. Claude created infographic of further effects from these various rulings. Okay. Now back over here to our notes. Yeah, there we go. Yo, this is so fucking sad. So I'm going to go back to Claude's answer here. That further decisions have, in effect, have been made clear in 2025, 2026. The big picture just got significantly clearer in the last few months. Here's what happened since the last update. February 6, 2026, Fourth Circuit lifts the injunction. That's the big decision. The Fourth Circuit vacated the Maryland District Court's nationwide preliminary injunction in Nadho versus Trump, ruling that the plaintiff's facial challenges to EO 14151 and EO 14173 were unlikely to succeed. The panel found the termination and certification provisions likely constitutional and not an impermissible chill on speech, and remanded to the District of Maryland for further proceedings. Importantly, this is a narrow ruling. The court didn't validate the administration's actual enforcement practices, didn't endorse its interpretation of anti-discrimination law, and explicitly didn't define what counts as, quote, unlawful DEI, unquote. It also preserved the right to challenge specific enforcement actions later. So it's a green light for the EOs to operate, not a blessing on everything the DOJ and ED does under them. June 26, 2026, so just several weeks back, Maryland plaintiffs folded following the Fourth Circuit's decision. Nadho, Jesus Christ, this thing's a pain in my ass. Sorry. Nadho, the AAUP and the city of Baltimore voluntarily dismissed their constitutional challenges. That's the original case that produced the broadest injunction against the DEI orders, effectively over now. But other courts have kept carving out exceptions. June 5th through 24th, 2026, federal court blocked USDA from enforcing DEI gender ideology, immigration certification conditions on funding recipients, sided with 20 states plus DC, finding likely spending clause and APA violations. June 29th, 2026, the Western District of Washington granted a preliminary injunction protecting Seattle, Portland, Cleveland. Well, I guess at least some of these districts are still holding up the Constitution. Columbus, Durham, and several counties from DEI gender order grant conditions, finding the agencies never tied the conditions to the grant's actual statutory purposes. This injunction only covers the named plaintiffs, though, and doesn't touch the EOs generally. So the EOs being the executive orders, guys. Essentially, Claude's idea of where that leaves things is that the EOs or executive orders themselves are now on solid legal footing, though, after the Fourth Circuit ruling and are being enforced broadly, but agencies are still losing case by case fights when they can't justify how specific grant conditions connects, how a specific grant condition, I apologize, connects to that grant's purpose. It's shifted from can the executive orders exist, largely settled to yes, unfortunately, to can the specific agency survive APA scrutiny, which is still being litigated jurisdiction by jurisdiction. Lord have mercy. Anyway, so backing this up to, fuck, man, mother of pearl. I apologize, guys. One sec. No. God damn it. One moment, guys. Fuck. I apologize. This is annoying as shit, man. This cannot keep fucking happening, y'all. So irritating. One moment. Okay. So annoying. One moment. I'm having some issues with my device. And while we're doing that, we're just going to run some cleanups. I get super annoyed with this. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. Mm. This dumb motherfucker. Yeah. Okay. That is not necessary. Okay. There we go. Okay. We shall see. Interesting. Okay. I apologize. I keep getting warnings that are essentially inaccurate, and then trying to take action on them and realizing, well, they're not accurate. All right. I really wish you could pseudo homebrew sometimes. Like, truly. I do. That would be kind of nice at this moment. Hmm. To make some minor changes here on something. Motherfucker. Sorry, guys. Seriously, come on. The fuck? What the fuck? Come on. Come on. Okay. I apologize. This is super annoying. Okay. Here's the Discord again. And motherfucker. I'm gonna have to go into my ZSHRC file in a little while and see what the fuck the problem is. That tells you, like I said, I keep getting like warnings about space, even though I have like a terabyte of like usable memory right now. I'm like working memory right now. Like, what the fuck? And a bazillion different cores and like I don't know what the problem is. So anyway, we'll see if we get warned again, right? In 2023, like it said, there was expected to be this decision. The decision happened. The information is in their notes. We went over all of the answers we got from Claude. Interesting, because here it says one of the things they aim to do was Project 2025, if they haven't already done it, is to establish a policy of legally, essentially speaking, with one voice. Some EPA offices, for example, the Office of Enforcement and Compliance Assurance, and the offices of regional counsel, assert legal positions and interpretations of the law that conflict with an administration's interpretation as articulated by OGC with input from program offices. It is unacceptable for the agency to have inconsistent legal positions, particularly with respect to key interpretive issues. I see they're already working on this, part of their evil plan. All attorneys with authority to represent EPA, not necessarily all attorneys, should therefore be housed in OGC. These offices include, God, like, could you be more evil? Anyway. Just gonna copy and paste that information too. Okay. That's about right. There we go. Again, throwing this into our whiteboard notes in Discord. And feel free to join the Discord, ask any questions you might have. If you'd like to add to the whiteboard notes, you're more than welcome to. I do have backups of everything, so. So again, establish policy of legally speaking with one voice. That's interesting. And again, all attorneys with authority to represent EPA should therefore be housed in OGC. These offices include, as it says here, the Office of Enforcement and Compliance Assurance, OECA. Okay. OECA was established, it says, during the Clinton admin. Enforcement attorneys tend to take legal positions to win cases or obtain settlements that may be inconsistent with those of OGC and program offices. OECA attorneys should be moved into OGC. Additionally, non-attorney program staff in OECA could be moved into their relevant program offices. For example, the Clean Air Act Enforcement Advisor could be moved into OAR. Beyond the avoidance of inconsistent legal positions, This policy would reduce the agency's overall expenditures and duplication of work. To accommodate this new function, OGC could establish a new Deputy General Counsel for Enforcement position to manage the enforcement attorneys at headquarters and in the regions. The Office of Congressional and Intergovernmental Affairs, OCIR. OCIR employees should not take legal positions in all administrations. White House counsel is key with respect to oversight issues and has an important relationship with OGC. There must be a strategic relationship between OCIR and OGC, but OGC, in consultation with agency clients and with White House counsel, should assert EPA legal positions to Congress. For example, the assertion of interest regarding congressional subpoenas, witness availability and testimony, and document production. The Office of Environmental Justice and External Civil Rights, OEJECR. OEJECR was established during the Biden administration. EJ and civil rights functions were taken from OGC and moved into a standalone office, as well as spread through the regions. OEJECR should be disbanded. OEJECR's attorneys should be moved back into OGC. And non-legal staff, for example, EJ policy advisors should be moved back into the administration's office, as is customary. Okay, the offices of regional counsel, ORCs. The regional EJ staff efforts, both in the ORCs and in the policymaking offices, are highly variable. Okay. EPA is therefore likely to take inconsistent legal positions. To the extent that legal positions are taken by the ORCs and or regional staff, they should be coordinated and approved by OGC and the appropriate regional leadership. For example, watch me instantly get cold. For example, nearly all regional offices have EJ action plans and or EJ implementation plans. Region 1's EJ action plan is 6 pages and Region 2's is 66 pages. Yeah, maybe Region 2 is bigger. That's what she said. The Region 2 EJ action plan, for example, specifies that ORC will conduct EJ training for all legal staff to provide attorneys with a simple standard EJ analysis they can use regardless of the context, enforcement, grants, permits, referrals, etc. of the case. In addition, EPA should refrain from publicly undermining the National Environmental Policy Act and EPA process at other agencies and should instead focus on providing constructive technical support during the interagency process. Personnel. Review OGC resources to consider reorganization of other attorney functions and leadership for consolidation into a cross-cutting issues law office. The fuck? Hold on. What on earth? Hold on, guys. I apologize. We're having problems again. This fucking thing, man. Hold on one sec. We gotta do some cleanup again. It's bugging the fuck out of me right now. Jesus Christ. Fuck you. Christ, man. Okay, let's see this. Hold on. Fuck. Okay. What the fuck? Oh my god, seriously? Ugh. It's making me crazy. Yeah, no shit. There we go. Yeah, this is so bizarre. The fuck? Why are we using so much data here? This is so fucking annoying. What in the fuck? That's bizarre. That's using up way too much data. Should not be using that type of data like at all right now. Hold on a sec. Something's fucky here. Okay. So hold on a sec. Okay. Nope, 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 nope. We're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that. Motherfucker. What the hell? What? Why would it be doing that? That's bizarre. Oh. No, I see what the problem is. At least one of the problems, this fucking thing. No. We don't need that. We don't need that. know what the issue is here. This is so bizarre. What the fuck? God damn it, you stupid motherfucker. Stop it. Stop. Stop it. No, I don't want that. This is bizarre. Why is it using this much data? Y'all, I am confused as hell right now. What the fuck? Come on. Jesus Christ.